Hi everyone, my name is Dana Sanchez and I'm doing this YouTube video as an assignment for one of my professors, Dr. Emerson from California Baptist University. So what I'm going to do is talk to you about two current events and then I'm going to link them to a global trend going on in the world today. Okay, so my first current event I'm going to start with is based out of Manila, the Philippines, and it is a tropical storm that hit September 21st. It displaced 200,000 people. So the country did call in 50,000 troops that could be on standby for potential rescue and relief operations. There was sadly 5 people who have already passed away from this tropical storm alone. So this is a really big concern for the people of the Philippines and around the world. So as monsoon season hits, there are 20 million people alone in Asia that live in the slums. So very poor people in makeshift homes. So their homes are ruined when monsoon season comes. And this is really sad and unfortunate and a real question for society as to how can we help them? How can we help the people of the Philippines and elsewhere living in slums so that when nature comes through with different kind of weather that they could withstand it and not have to rebuild their home year after year. So the water is 6 feet to 10 feet high. It's covering cars, and a lot of it is just sitting in certain places. So it's contaminated now with sewage and trash and what have you. So the water issue is a real problem. Once it gets cleaned up and the people from the capital, come out, they currently are getting food and shelter and water, and that's fabulous, but that's only for a short time. Then they go back to the slums and they have to recreate life, which is very difficult. Okay, so I'm going to move to my second current event, which is actually based practically in my backyard. It's based out of Salton Sea, California. It's about a half-hour's drive from me. And the Salton Sea once was such a desirable place where, lots of people thought that it was going to be this wonderful tourist town and people would have recreation, swimming and boating on the lake. And it was that at one time, but it was short-lived. The high salt content in the lake is just enormous. The levels are so high, hence its name, the Salton Sea. So also the fish there are unedible. So um, the fish die year after year. If you were to go down to the lake and you wanted to walk on the shore, you could not walk without shoes. There are fish bones everywhere. So the fish die. They get swept up on shore, and their bones stay there with so many more, like a graveyard. Well, that's not the only problem. Also, there's an agricultural problem where pesticides are running from Coachella, from Mecca, from thermal off into the lake. So this is causing a really big problem. There are several people, politicians wise in California, that want to fix the lake. They don't want to let it just waste away the way it has. In the summer, if you live where I live, you smell it, a horrendous stench because the fish are dying and it just travels so many miles and everybody can smell it all around. So you go by and you see this blue water in the middle of the desert and it seems so beautiful, but it's really not. It's very unusable water. Okay, so here's where I'm going to hook them together for my global trend, which is there's water all around the globe that is unusable. And water is such a hot, an important resource for us. How do we how do we preserve it better? How can we keep from contaminating water that doesn't need to be contaminated? So is there a way to catch water and filter it in the Philippines with so much water being poured down? Is there a possibility to somehow save the Salton Sea and make it usable water? so that the fish stay alive and people can fish and they can eat the fish? Is it possible around the world where there are rivers that are contaminated to save that water resource? What do we do? I don't have the answer, and I don't think there is one easy answer. But the question at hand for us in California is we have an emergency mandate now where we can only water on certain days, or um, you can only use a little bit of water compared to what you could in the winter time before this last year. So there's a water shortage, and it's just so important because all humans need it. So what do we do? Okay, so thanks for listening.